Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Anna Forbes. I am Regional Vice President of Northern Europe at Double Verify, and I'm here today with Celine, CEO of Mediaplus. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
So, how's your Cannes been so far?
Oh, wonderful as always. Lots of really interesting content, lots of things to see and do, lots of new contacts met. It's been great. It's just never enough time to fit it all in, but it's really nice to catch up with you and DVT.
What a privilege to be here, aren't we lucky? So let's start off today. So what does your day look like as a CEO, and where does AI fit into that, and how does it play a role into what your agency does?
Yeah, thank you. I think the day-to-day of a CEO role, I'm sure like yours, is so varied. It's anything from leading clients through conversations about their vision, working with our internal teams and our agency vision, our people and culture, through to business development. So every day really is different. From an artificial intelligence point of view, at the agency level, we have a couple of different work streams. One of them is around understanding psychological safety and artificial intelligence. We're working with our brands to help them to deploy a strategy that enables the human side of AI and doesn't just go straight to tool technology. So that's one part of what we're delivering, and kind of my impact on that is kind of working with our brands and partners to kind of talk about what that means, and the workshops and kind of enabling that opportunity. Then from kind of how we enable our operative teams, we have an AI task force, doesn't everyone? So we're looking at where are we from a skills point of view within artificial intelligence, and then sort of auditing the market in terms of the types of tools and tech that we would like to deploy and how they help us to deliver a more effective and innovative solution to our clients. And that's everything from sort of client management solutions, so looking at how we can use artificial intelligence to better understand some of the client content that we receive and kind of their feedback, and helping us to automate some of the more administrative side of client management. Right through to tools and technology that allow us to surface data in a more effective and efficient way, both from a kind of media deployment perspective, but also in terms of our investments and kind of where they sit. And then finally, the other thing we've been doing is looking at AI and how that helps us to enable a creative solution for our clients. And that's been, I think, really wonderful to help our clients to take sort of quite standard assets and deliver them in a sort of much more interesting and creative way, but really seamlessly, really quickly. And that's been a really great development.
That's so many different ways. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
It does make me laugh how I think about, remember the year of mobile that actually ended up lasting a decade?
Yeah.
I feel like we're there at the beginning of that with AI. Yeah. It feels this year in Cannes, AI is much more prevalent than it has been last year. It's everywhere, and certainly at DV, it's across our product suite. We use it pretty much in everything that we do. So one of the things in particular is around performance. So you're in a pretty unique position to help define what performance means for your clients.
Yeah.
How do you see AI shifting that definition, especially when it comes to measuring success across channels?
Yeah, so I've started at the start of kind of where we see AI kind of supporting us in that journey. And first, we're using it a lot more to surface insight data to help us to understand the right audience to be reaching. Mm-hmm. And so in an age where lots of brands are looking at effectiveness and efficiency and so on, it's sort of starting with let's use AI to surface as much insight as we can to make sure we're targeting a more as precise an audience as possible. But then when we go into kind of investment and activation, AI has kind of enabled us to build things like custom algorithms, so using clients' first-party data and taking that into a sort of data clean room or similar, to then start to use large language models to think about how we target in a more sophisticated way. And then when we move through to measurement, I think it's AI is enabling us to have a better and more deeper understanding of what the data is telling us. But that's certainly a journey we continue to go on. I think any kind of opportunities with DV and others to kind of help us to sort of deliver really deep insights from an effectiveness and measurement point of view is really exciting for our brands. So that's where they see lots of value from agencies and partners and kind of helping them to understand their data. So that's a really exciting space for us.
Lovely. You've already answered my next question, so I'm going to sort of tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
How are you doing that across channels? Like, How are you breaking down the silos, and how much of a challenge is that for you today?
In terms of measurement?
Yeah.
I think within digital as a channel, I think we're using sort of common technologies across all media so that we have one common understanding of effectiveness within a single brand. I think what's the most difficult part is then connecting that with the on-site journey, but also then connecting that with above-the-line advertising. And that's where I think the conversation starts to move from what we understand in terms of optimization metrics and so on within platform, and how do we take that to another level of measurement with a client. So I would say it's a really challenging space, honestly, to navigate in terms of like, how do you have a single view of effectiveness. So we're doing our best with the technology that we have available to us, and I think it's really helpful to work with DV to kind of have that sort of single tag across all of our activity is really helpful, and whether that's looking at sort of on-site conversion or through to attention metrics and trying to marry those with business metrics and connect the two.
That's right.
But it's definitely a journey.
Yes, it is, and it is for us as a business as well. Like we've gone from being a hygiene factor of making sure that you're not advertising or not allocating budget into bad areas in the open web and on walled gardens, but now it's how can we help you optimize towards sophisticated metrics like attention, but then the next iteration is really then proving it out against real business outcomes that help move the needle for our clients and their bottom line. So
it's really exciting.
It's exciting. We're going to solve that quandary of half of my advertising works, I don't know which half. We're going to figure it out.
Please?
Yeah, we're going to figure that out. We did it here at Cannes. So back to AI, because we can't get enough of it. So there's obviously a lot of AI news going on right now. There's still a lot of confusion around it. What are the misconceptions that you keep hearing still, whether that's from your clients or your team or peers out in the industry?
I think one of the misconceptions is around understanding people's skill set to enable AI. So that's why we start with kind of an audit of where our people are at, really, and what the barriers are to enabling AI, because sometimes people won't offer that up first in terms of why they haven't kind of been trained or activated in terms of artificial intelligence. Can we pause for 1 second? I'm trying to remember the question. What's the second part of the question?
Like misconceptions from your peers and how, setting the record straight.
Yes. Fine, thank you.
It can just be like the talent to utilise it, that also it's not just a buzzword. You've got to have specific use cases of where it can help. It's like saying, is technology good or bad? You're like, well, it depends where it's relevant to.
Thank you. Sorry, I forgot the second part of the question. So in terms of other misconceptions that I see, it's people kind of believing that artificial intelligence is taking away part or completely their role. What we're actually seeing is AI is only as good as the data that you feed it, and supporting people in trying to understand what their role is in artificial intelligence and how, as a human, you're bringing a different level of intelligence through to the AI, and what that means for you in your role. We're spending some time at the moment looking at skills analysis and saying, what are the skills that we need now and in the future, and how do we support and train our teams in those? So I think that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions that I'd love to work on.
I totally agree. I'm an AI optimist, I think, is the way that we define it. It isn't going to take jobs away from people. It's going to stop us doing jobs that we never commercially able to do because it just wasn't viable. If I think about the custom bidding stuff, we at DV last year measured 8.3 trillion transactions with data signals on each of those transactions as well. Like, that's just so much data to deal with. Humans can't possibly do that, and certainly not in real time. So when you're thinking about optimization, it's just not feasible. So this is where AI can step in, do a better job than humans ever could, and then the humans can be the ones ensuring that the strategy and the planning. So I want to talk, that's my next sort of question, like, how are you balancing leveraging AI with automation, but ensuring that the human intuition that still defines the strategy and brand stewardship is still alive and thriving, and that the two are working quite harmoniously?
I think as a business we're very focused on strategic thinking. We have our what we call our Behave unit that sits at the heart of understanding customer behaviour, so that we always start with our ethos of how do we better understand and influence decision making, and how to enable that. So I think we'll always start with kind of quite strategic thinking, and AI in strategy is an enabler of that, and means that we can just surface data a lot more quickly, get insight a lot more quickly, and then balancing that with, once we go through to investment and activation, saying how can we take all of this really rich audience insight and enable it in a really effective and efficient way. And honestly, we're on a journey with that. You know, there's lots of partner tools and tech that we're enabling, like yourselves, to help support us on that journey. But we're just tipping the surface. You know, there could never be enough investment of either time or budget into what's the potential of AI in our business, and how can we get there as quickly as possible, so that I think it's a great opportunity to give lots of our teams time back so they can do the stuff that they love, like you say.
So that's my final question. So here in Cannes, we've had a beautiful time. What would you say, going back to AI, is one of the more exciting, or ones that makes you feel really positive about the transformation that AI can bring us? What's a really great use case that you'd like to share?
I love most of it, actually. Like you, I'm a real optimist about like the opportunity and benefits of artificial intelligence. But I think, honestly, if I think about my team, the talent that we have, it's the opportunity to remove the sort of repetitive tasks, what I'd call quite administrative tasks, associated with media planning and activation, which are often, from a brand point of view, unseen. But there's a huge amount of work that sits there. And the people that we bring onto business really want to kind of be working with clients on strategy and vision and creative and really exciting elements. And I think if I could take all of that bit away and they could just focus on that, I think the team would be really happy with that. And it's just a journey to get there.
Nice. Thank you so much for joining us today on our lovely boat.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Celine.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Pleasure.